Let's talk about the music industry, for example, because I'm getting to know some music artists in Nashville, Tennessee, especially. And what I've realized is, number one, you want to differentiate yourself from the perspective of your songs, from the perspective of your music. Not everyone can be, as incredible as Elvis Presley, right? So one way to differentiate that I feel a lot of music artists do not do, that I would love to see them do more often, is this: do not compromise. A lot of music artists compromise, I feel, and hopefully the music artists do not take this in a, say, in a way that, they feel I'm saying this in a condescending way. I'm not. I love the music artists. I want every music artist who is willing to work hard on their music, who actually loves the art form, who actually loves the creativity, who actually spends time daily trying to practice on the music. I want all those music artists to be number one on Billboard and all these charts, right? But the point I'm trying to make is this: a lot of people compromise along the way towards success. And I've heard a lot of people say, never give up, that's the way to succeed, and things like that. But I went one step further in my mind. I said, why is that? Why is it that if someone never gives up, will they almost definitely see success, especially in our country, the greatest, most powerful country in the world, the United States of America? And I have a very definitive answer to that, at least in my opinion. The answer very simply is this. Look, what happens is, I'll give you an example, right? This should be a lot of fun. And tell me if you agree with me or not. So let's say I'll take a hypothetical example of a music artist in this situation to drive home the point I'm trying to make. Let's say there's a music artist who has, maybe young guy or young girl, early 20s, wants to be the next Ed Sheeran, wants to be the next Justin Bieber, wants to be the next Elvis Presley even, right? Though that's not possible. I don't want to say that, but Elvis is Elvis. And so let's say that music artist that I'm talking about, new young music artist, has released maybe 3 or 5 songs, whatever it is, right? And so that music artist now wants to do live performances and goes to, music performance venue, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, talks to the people, and does not unfortunately get the opportunity to be one of the singers on stage. Now, what happens is, a lot of times when you get 10 no's, or I'm taking hypothetical numbers in this example, a lot of music artists, and I'm taking example of music artists, this is applicable across every industry that is available in the United States of America. A lot of people give up. They say, well, yeah, this is just too tough, or this is not for me, and they try something different, and usually that's not the right decision. But let's say 50% of the people drop out. Now, let's say the remaining 50% keep moving forward. They go to the 11th not bar, but like music venue, right? Whatever it is. Bar was an example. A lot of bars in Nashville have fantastic music as well. And they go to the 11th music venue, 12th, 13th, 20th music venue. And let's say the 20th music venue says to the music artist, all right, we'll give you a shot. We'll give you a try, sing here. But the vibe of that interaction is not right. If that makes sense, I'm going to try and keep it generic. A lot of music artists, I feel, say, I've tried, in the sense that person says, that music artist probably says, I've tried 20 music venues. This one is giving me that opportunity. It's not what I really want. Or if from the perspective of the dynamic of the interaction that I'm having with the owner of that music venue, in this hypothetical example, I'm going to do it anyways, they say, right? What happens then is you get a reputation started for being someone who compromises. And I hope I'm getting my point across extremely clearly. And I'm doing this because I love the music artists. I love creativity. I love Hollywood actors. I love creativity. And so what happens a lot of times is the people start playing at these venues in a compromising situation from the perspective of what I was just talking about. And I hope I'm making sense. And so, look, here's what happens. And so I said, okay, why is it that a Tom Cruise is a Tom Cruise, number one, all time? Why is an Elvis Presley an Elvis Presley? And I'm taking examples. My point is, why is the top 1% in any industry the top 1%? What got them to that top 1%? And there are multiple reasons for this. But the reality of the situation is the top 1% of any industry usually wants to work with the top 1% talent pool as well, right? Because they feel they deserve it, which is probably the truth. The top 1% in any industry is looking for this. They are looking for what? Obviously, let's say in a music industry, they're looking for someone who is very creative, someone who has that artistic talent. But what they're also looking for from the perspective of the business is they are looking for a bottom line. What they are saying is this music artist in this example a bankable music artist is this music artist, if we put in, or Hollywood artists, or whichever industry, I'm taking examples, if we put in a certain amount of money, which can be a large amount of money or a small amount of money, into this music artist or into this Hollywood actor or into whatever industry it is, would we get a ROI? Would we get a return on investment that is justifiable from the investment dollar perspective, from the risk, so to speak, risk perspective? And what these top 1% people are looking for is investing in someone who does not make that compromise and obviously can sing, can dance, can act, whatever it is in that industry. That is definite. But that is why the person who says no to that 20th music venue example and says, you know what, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to go to the 21st bar, 22nd bar, or whatever it is, bar in the sense I'm talking music venue. And what happens is, see, there are scouts in every industry. Every top 1% of every industry is looking for that next Elvis Presley, is looking for that next Tom Cruise, is looking for that next Leonardo DiCaprio, which does not come easy. And what happens is you start differentiating yourself as an artist because you keep saying no to the wrong deals. And then what happens is that top 1% says, of that industry, says, this is the artist that has said no 30 times, has gone through trials and tribulations, and still wants to succeed on his or her terms. That is the guy or that is the girl that we will put billions of dollars in if we have to, like they do on Tom Cruise, like they do on Leonardo DiCaprio, like they do on Denzel Washington, like they do on Selena Gomez, like they do on Enrique Iglesias, like they do on Ed Sheeran.
I think there's a limit to the amount.
No, but I want to complete this line of thought. Maybe you disagree with me, but this is my opinion at this time. I think it's a firm opinion. And so then what happens is that 30th deal or 40th deal or 50th deal goes through. And then what happens is, it's a meteoric rise, so to speak, or the trajectory goes up for that artist because he or she has differentiated themselves, not just from a talent perspective. You have to have that talent from a hard work perspective, perseverance perspective, from the perspective of never giving up. But I'm giving you the rationale for why that never give up attitude works, because it's not easy. It's easier to take the easy route and make that compromise. But what happens is it's very tough then to make a comeback. It is not impossible, but it's tough to make a comeback and become that Billboard #1 or whichever industry it is. That's point number one. And I hope the young people listening in and the senior people listening in take this in the right spirit.
You gotta let me.
Okay, go ahead.
Because I mean, so there's a limit.